Steve, I was looking at the numbers. For example, in Melbourne, they managed to quash an outbreak of similar numbers back in 2020, but that wasn't Omicron. What can Hong Kong potentially do to try and get this under control?
Well, if I remember correctly, in Melbourne, they locked everybody up or down, I should say, for quite some time to quash that outbreak. And, you know, that's very difficult to do in a city like Hong Kong, densely populated, sometimes with 3 generations of the same family crammed into 500 square feet. And the reliance is for, you know, daily food necessities is out on the streets. And you just can't necessarily do what China is doing. But Hong Kong is, you know, pursuing the same policy of what they call dynamic zero COVID, which is essentially zero tolerance for COVID, except for, you know, encircling an apartment block and locking that targeted place down. It's going to be very difficult to keep going with zero COVID. And the only way to do it is to have further restrictions. And that's what's like if they're going to continue with that path. It's either living with the virus or further restrictions if you're going to be going with zero COVID. So right now, the authorities are giving no indication that they're going to adapt or change to a living with the virus. So I will bet my last dollar on it, more restrictions coming, perhaps as early as today, perhaps tomorrow after we get the Executive Council meeting later today. Carrie Lam, the chief executive, on Friday, I should say, alluded to the fact she will be pushing for more social distancing restrictions. We also had a former top medical advisor to the government of the Hong Kong Medical Association essentially saying if people do not heed the encouragement of the government to not congregate and to stay at home, then we're going to be seeing the likelihood of 10,000 cases at least a day within the next couple of weeks. And if that happens, then he is recommending that the social distancing restrictions be increased quite considerably and basically wipe out about 70% more of what freedom we have to congregate in Hong Kong right now. So the numbers are not huge on a global standpoint. 607 cases reported yesterday on top of about 700 over the previous couple of days. But the trajectory looks pretty bad if you talk about the silent transmission chains.